I'll call the meeting to order. David, if you would take roll, please.
Trustee Anderson?
Present.
Trustee Woodson?
Present.
Trustee Carney?
Present.
Trustee Bear has indicated he's going to be somewhat late, and Supervisor Stringer Wayne?
Present. If you'll stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And just for the budget workshop portion of the meeting, we'll be meeting back here, and then I'd like to take a break after the workshop, and everybody can refresh themselves, and then we'll reconvene up at the dais. So right now we are about the 2013-2014 budget, and historically we've gone through it line by line. If that's the way the board wants to do it again, we can do it that way. Or if there are just specific questions that people have.
Oh, that's it. Let's just run through it line by line. Bill, I'm gonna give her this chair.
Sure.
You know what, I don't want to confuse things, but I just want to give you all this, which are the number, it's just the same numbers. That's how I found the error on the EA, but it's going to give you the beginning cash balance and the ending cash balance.
Is there a reason why this couldn't have been sent to us ahead of time?
Because I think it's the exact same numbers. You will see they're the exact same numbers. Oh, I gave them two and two the wrong way. Okay.
Are there enough of them? Because I
I
have.
think there's plenty, yeah.
Okay.
I think I made one for Kathy. Okay, but let's go to the spreadsheet and go from there. And Laura's point, why don't we go ahead and number our pages just to keep the confusion down. So obviously the first page is the first page.
My page numbers are gonna be different because.
Well, just on the last two, you and I will be different because I have that too. So the pages 1 and 2 are the proposed town and assessor budgets. Page 3 is GA. Page 4 and 5 is the total. Laura, you and I had a silent 6. And then 7 and 8, just call them 7 and 8 so that we're all on the same number, are the road and bridge. Okay?
Yeah, I don't have a page 6. You're the only one with page 6 because I took the old
Oh,
numbers
okay.
and everybody else has page
Okay.
6.
So, why don't we,
Is this what you call a 6?
Yes.
That's
Yes,
the
because
one
of
for
the
this.
revisions.
okay, so, under income, it's the property tax of $625. Replacement tax estimated at 24. Interest income of 300. Passport fees, 6,500.
Yeah, I disagree with that number, but it doesn't matter. I mean, what will come in will
Yeah.
come in, but it's gonna be between 9 and 11,000 based on the updates we've been getting.
For
And based
14?
on past years. Yeah, and based on what has happened in the past
I mean,
years.
it might be lower. I mean, you know,
I think
again,
it'll
in
be
13,
higher.
it was 55, so this is just an estimate. We don't know how many people are coming in, and
Well, didn't you tell me the other day that people came in like droves?
we had 20 on, but this is still this current fiscal year. And that's because Libertyville, thank you. Libertyville, the person in Libertyville is out sick until, when's she coming back? Kathy? The gal in Libertyville that does passports? March? February? So it's just kind of a temporary blip there. Refunds and miscellaneous income is 3,500. Okay, any questions on that for total income, estimated income of $659,300.
Which would be higher if we,
If we get more
use
passports.
our historical data on passports, that should be higher.
And we may get less on replacement tax. I mean, some of these, the only thing that we're pretty confident of is the property tax number.
Last year it came in
A little
higher
higher,
than
yeah,
estimated.
yeah.
Year before it came in higher than estimated.
So they may.
I think we're pretty safe. Okay.
All right, then there was a request to break out elected official salaries, which was done. So the budget is $161,847 for the upcoming fiscal year, as shown there. Any questions? Well, it's the total, well, I'm just telling what the total is.
Oh, that you
If
added them
yeah.
all together.
If you
Okay,
take the supervisor, assessor, commissioner, town clerk, and trustees for the fiscal 14 budget, it's gonna be $161,847.
yeah, and my question was, I'm just asking, we have staff salary, well, you're on the elected official salary.
I
was
just
on
added that, and for what it's worth, on my Excel sheet, it's 160,847.
168?
160, 160,
Okay,
847.
That's why I got my second pair of glasses. And now it's a good look.
That's crazy.
Okay, sorry. 160,847.
Then, this 114,785 is 4,000 more than last year.
Right.
Who are we giving the raise to?
To the girls in the office,
Okay.
3%, and then I'm asking for the person who was hourly, who's at $10 to get $16. Because of, number one, the work she's taking on, and the assistance to Kathy, and frankly, at $10, I'm having a hard time keeping somebody.
So was there a time that you wanted to talk to us about this?
Well, at the workshop, I think that's the time we talk about it. And the others are a 3% raise, Kathy and Devon,
They didn't get a raise last year, correct?
3%.
They got 3% last year.
And so that's the part-time?
No, that's
No,
the
no, no.
full-time people got
A
3%
3%.
last year, and she's asking for another 3% this year.
They didn't get a raise in the prior year. In fiscal 12, there was no raise for them. And I don't know, did you get one in 11,
I'm
Kathy?
talking about the one for
Did
$10
Devon get
and
one?
one is 16.
I think so.
Is that the part-time?
Like 3 years ago? I think they did. I think the one year that there was no raise was in fiscal 12.
I believe that's correct. So Gail,
Mhm.
the young lady that's part-time that we had on at $10, so you want her to go up to 16 now? And that's included in the 114?
That's included in the 114. Also not included, I keep forgetting, is the money that we pay to BJ, the videographer, that's 600. But I want it to be as accurate as
Is that
possible.
increased as well?
Unless this board wants to.
Can I ask, is this the same thing you had on the website? Or are these different?
This would be different, because this has not yet been posted. This is all very preliminary. Oh, yeah.
No.
Just don't take me with the 2 glasses, pairs of glasses on, please.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
Oh, gosh, I'm trying to look up on the internet what the cost of living index is this year. Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know.
Somewhere in the 3% neighborhood, I think.
Like
The-
3.6 for some reason is what's sticking out in my mind because of, but I
Well,
don't
the
know.
factor, what's been the factor, T, for calculating the
I think it
permissible
was
levy?
3.6.
Hmm? You think it was
3.6.
as high as 3.6?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Why are we taking pictures?
Because I'm writing a story and I'm sorry. I can't
David
take a
called
photo
Pioneer
of the
Crossing.
story, I'm sorry.
And
any,
Social Security Administration has it down as 1.7.
Wow, is it that low?
That's what Social Security is using.
as a cost of living, or are they, for what period?
2013. This was posted on October 16th of last year.
Well, the other thing I'm gonna say, in my opinion, when the elected officials' positions are being cut to part-time, there's going to be quite a bit more work for these ladies to pick up on.
I just wish you would have given us a heads up, okay.
Well, in fairness, you got the budget 2 weeks ago.
I did, well, I did, but I would, and I guess I should have emailed you and asked the specifics. What are your thoughts, Mary?
About that increase?
Mm-hmm.
What was it last year? It was a
3%.
It was 3%. Okay, so what's the difference last year?
So
They didn't get one
3%
the year
again.
before, right? Can we get it?
I don't think anyone
No.
did the year before. It was a rough year. I don't see it.
I don't see
What,
no
Scott,
problem
do
with
you
it.
have an
I
issue?
don't have a huge problem with the 3%. I have a larger problem with the 60% increase
Mhm.
in the hourly.
Okay, so we agree on the 3%?
3%.
Is that what we're saying?
Well, again, I'm gonna tell you, we've already had turnover once because of the salary. I'd like to get it up from $10, which for the work that's being done is certainly more administrative assistant level than a bagger at the, what do they call it? I don't know, more than a, slightly more
Well,
than minimum
budgeting
wage.
and actually approving the raise are different, aren't they? I mean, we don't.
No, no. I mean, I think right now we're deciding. And we're not supposed to go into executive session for this?
Mm.
Okay. Do either of you have a good feel for
Well,
clerical pay, you know, for answering phones, receptionist?
And she does passports and,
Yeah.
well, yeah, the figure for $10 an hour is great if you just answer the phone.
Do you have
But then
any-
there's other
I-
duties in.
she also helps
involved.
Kathy. She does help do the payroll.
Yes.
Payroll is like, how many people total are you doing payroll on?
10, well, plus with the elected officials, 16 maybe? Which is on a check and balance. We need to have a second person working on payroll. According to the auditors.
I mean, 16 seems high for that position for answering the phone. That's what we said when we hired him. We just wanted something to just do, office type stuff.
Office
So how
type
much
stuff.
do you pay
Usually-
your receptionist?
I don't know. I'd have to look, but it's not 16, I can tell you that. I'm sure it's below 15.
Would 14 be acceptable?
Around between 10 and 12, 15, 13, somewhere like that.
I'm sorry, I'm not, what are you saying, Mary?
Between 10 and 13.50. Between 10 and 13.50. If you just answer the telephone.
Which
For
she is doing
part-time.
more than that, but
But she's doing more than that.
Yeah, I mean, without seeing a job description of all the people, it'd be hard to,
those have been supplied in the past. Again, that's,
Yeah, not since Scott started.
Well, and-
I might have some here, I don't think I brought them.
and a 60% increase is.
well, I understand, yes, it's a 60% increase, but
That's
it's
pretty
also,
good.
you know,
Pretty good
for
job.
what we're asking for in terms of a person who comes in and administers a lot of, you know, the food pantry, passports, who's helping on bookkeeping. Do you wanna go 14? Do you wanna go 13? I just think $10 is, again, our experience is we've already lost one person because we couldn't hold them at that place, and I don't know if we can hold our current person at $10.
13 times 40 would be
Except
520.
we're keeping them to.
At 10 hours, I mean, 19 and a half hours a week.
No, I'm just saying if there's a 40-hour
Well,
week.
just double it and add 3 zeros. 13 would be 26,000.
Oh,
So you think we're gonna have more of a turnover because of it?
Wait.
Okay.
13 times 20.
$2,000 in a working year. 13 times 2,000 would be 26,000.
What were you saying, Mary?
What's the part-time?
And half that. If you go half-time, it'd be half that. She asked what that equates to.
So if you're talking about half-time, you mean, so there's a $3,000 difference
Be
between
13,000.
16 and, I mean, what's been proposed is 16, you're talking about
1,000
13 is $3 differential times how
Right.
many hours? So you're talking about what, reducing the total by 3,000? Is that what somebody's proposing?
I hope so, I hope we can move on, I mean, 13 would be fine, I mean, I would be fine with 13.
I propose that we, have an increase of $13.50. That's what I'm proposing,
Increase to 1350.
to $13.50.
What do you think?
If you're reducing from 16 to 1350, you're reducing by 250 times 1,000, so you're reducing the
Yeah.
total, proposed total by 2,500, right?
Roughly, I mean, it's 999 hours to be exact, but for a budget, I think that's close.
I just don't have a good feel for what clerical people are paid.
I don't think there's a big difference between 13 and 1350.
Okay,
So
so 1350?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So then we're reducing that line item by,
$2,500.
so 1150.
Don't take it with the double glasses.
With the assessor.
So what'd you say, we're gonna be at 2250 less?
14,500.
So it'd be 112,535, is that what you get?
You figured it at 16?
Mhm.
16 to 1350 is 250 an
50
hour
times
times
1,000.
999, we would call it 1,000 for budget.
So it's
purposes.
112,535 is what I get. Is that what you get?
Not 112. We were talking about 14,500.
No, I'm talking about the line item here, or the staff salary of 114.
Oh,
75.
sorry, I'm on
So
the
was that
wrong
114, how much is
So
this?
I get 112,535.
Oh, that was the next thing.
Minus 25.
I'd take 2,500 off.
Yeah, it's 112,285.
112,285 would be good, close enough.
112,285, is that the number?
112,285.
So why don't we say
Well, you
112,300?
have 16 numbers here, so.
And just round it. Keep it simple.
Easier to do the
112,300?
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Then my question was, why under health and dental elected officials do we have 4,100 if all our elected
Because there's
officials
still
are
2.5, well, first of all, T gets it for the full 12 months, because her term goes until next January.
But that isn't where this 4,100 isn't for the assessor's office, this is just for your office.
We pay for it. We don't see any, because.
Yeah,
we-
I wondered why we didn't
Because the
have
town fund has to
anything.
pay all compensation for
Okay.
elected officials,
So
so that's 2 2/3 months for the supervisor and 12 months for you, and then 2 months without. Whoever comes
Yes.
in January has then, January and February without benefits.
Okay, and then T, why did I think we didn't have health insurance for you because you were on
You were
Medicare or whatever?
paying my Medicare premium,
Okay,
so. it's-
Supplement,
Pardon me?
the supplement.
Yes.
okay. Okay, moving along.
Okay, health and dental staff,
That one,
that we just factored in an increase, just.
yeah, why did you factor in an increase?
Well, because I don't think health
Because health
insurance is.
insurance is going down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like your sense of humor. That
Not
was,
really funny,
so is there information we've received?
No, we just applied,
We're just
again, a number.
Assuming. That it's gonna go up by quite a big percentage.
but at almost 30%.
Well,
So is that,
If it goes by less, I mean, that's great. I mean, obviously, we
well,
try
I'm
to shop
just
it.
looking historically.
It went from 11 to 11.5. Oh, no.
Well, that's the
Okay, no,
budget
no, I'm
versus
sorry.
projected.
I'm
11
looking
to
at
10,
last
8,
year's, let's see.
5,700 to 10, so double 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was,
Well, just remember, and in 11, that's when the case manager, we had a separate, I was trying to allocate the expenses for general assistants to general assistants. So it's not gonna be apples to apples, you have to look and
yeah,
see
it
what.
gets
we-
really
Yeah.
complicated because she changed everything. Okay.
Are we doing the assessor now too, or just the?
Whatever you guys wanna do.
Whatever you want to do.
You
I don't
move
wanna be
over to the right
confusing.
on that, that's actually going down
What are we doing here?
on the, oh no, projected.
No, it's
My bad,
not.
my
The health
bad.
and dental.
They're projecting an increase on both of them. Oh, you know what, we gotta go back, because the staff salaries on the assessor side are going up by 8,000. What's that for, T?
That is a 3% increase for all of the employees and a change in the job description of Ms. Ugasti, who will, when I leave office, take over as office administrator.
Well, isn't that up to the next assessor to promote them when the next assessor comes in? You're
Well-
like in effect, you're promoting someone for when you leave. Is that it, correct?
Well, I think the discussion we had when we were discussing.
No, what I'm asking is, are you giving her a promotion for after you leave?
I am giving her a promotion which will take effect after I leave.
Yeah, I think that's up to the next assessor to do. In
The
my
next
opinion.
budget doesn't take over until 3 months after the next assessor comes in.
Well, we're budgeting for that to perhaps take place, but the next assessor would pick it, because it doesn't start until after.
Yeah, so I think we
So-
could budget for it, but I
Correct.
don't think you wanna promise that. I think it's up to the next assessor, right?
If that's the way you view it, I can see your point of
It's
view.
not up to me, it's up to the next assessor, I think.
Well, I think, on the other hand, that the discussion we had was that if we were going to ask the new assessor to be part-time and have no benefits, that there would be a need for administrative ability in the office on a full-time basis.
Right, and I think when that new assessor comes in, whoever it is that's elected, I think they'll figure that. I mean, I
Well,
just
I
think.
think that that's what I saw when I voted on it, but I don't know that I wanna, you know, impose that on the next person, so. I would see someone, you know, doing that. I see it as one of the existing.
Well, here, the alternative was, and the other alternative we had was to talk about hiring somebody on to move into a position as an administrative person. Remember, we were talking about, we could look all over the state to find somebody who was qualified that would come in. I
don't
took
think
that
we
to
need-
mean, Laura.
I don't think we need to decide this at the budget. I think the new assessor will be elected in May. They'll be working with you for a long period of time, side by side, before you leave. And correct? Is that correct?
Have you decided that you was gonna leave? Have you made that
I'm not
decision?
running.
You're
She's not running.
Okay, you have made that
She is
decision.
not running.
Okay.
So the next person, they know that they've been elected as of March,
May, April.
April, and then you don't leave until December. I think you guys can figure that out between the two of you.
I agree with you.
Okay, so we don't need to handle this in the budget.
Correct.
Okay.
But that's where that money is looking forward. Don't forget, we have Rob Beek, who works for us occasionally, a 3% increase for the employees, and the fact that we are anticipating a need to increase the salary of someone to be an administrator on a full-time basis in the office and take over the budget responsibilities and all the other things that frankly may not be as practical for a part-time person.
Okay,
But I'm all right with
I have
it.
no problem with that. Okay.
Rob's not gonna wanna work in the road district.
Moving.
You know, the FICA will change based on the change for,
So that's why that went down. I had a question mark, okay. But why
Well,
is
that's-
it going up in the assessor's office when it's going down?
well, again, the
Because
town
the-
fund is paying for the elected officials, and we pay FICA on the elected officials, so that's why it's going down there. And based on the.
Increase
yeah,
in salaries,
yeah.
then it goes
But
up.
I've gotta change that 21 after, I mean, I'm not gonna do it now, but unless you want us to, because it's, we could do it, we could take 168,47 plus 112,300 times. So it'd be 20,895. You could just leave it at 21,000, if that's all right with you guys.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. SUDA, you know, again, it's just kind of based on historical, we pay whatever we're told we have to pay.
Okay, and then under employers IMRF, I was curious, so yours went down, but why did, so the reason it's going up in the assessor's office is, now it makes sense, because T's is in yours, and then they're getting a raise, so therefore their IMRF goes up.
Right.
Okay, got it. Then, I don't wanna take over here. I didn't have any questions till we got down to legal services.
Anything else, you guys?
Did you have anything, Scott?
No.
You know, when I look at actual of 3690,
6,500.
Well, again, my thought is, and these are estimates, when you have a whole new board in, that there's going to probably be a lot more questions of the attorney of what's,
sometimes I think we ask the attorney questions we don't, you know, in the beginning we needed to. but-
well, that's what I mean, there's gonna be presumably new personnel on the board.
I just got it back to the 6,500, and it was only 4,000 the year before, so not even 4,000.
I'd agree. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward, and then postage, I think we should leave at 1,700.
Well, you know, there's an increase coming up.
I listen.
It's
Is
only
there?
a penny.
Well, okay, but again, these are estimates, we don't have to spend to the budget, but
What are you
They're
saying?
estimates
No,
of what
it's-
we
it's
might be
increased
spending.
coming.
Yeah, but it's only
Yeah, no, it's only, yeah.
2% increase.
So
Is it-
what's 2%? Where should we be with
I
that?
don't know.
How about 1,800 then, would that
Okay,
work for you
sure,
guys?
Yeah.
sure. Okay. Oh, and then,
Do you wanna ask on the assessor
Software.
side, anything while we're doing this? Okay.
Would it be easier, just to make a suggestion, would it be easier on these sort of combined office expenses to go to the tab that you have for town assessor GA totals, rather than deciding how much postage for the supervisor and how much for the assessor?
no,
I
because
don't
we
think
have.
that's how we ever determine our own personal budgets.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to,
So for computer software,
well, and why don't we go back for legal? Why do we even have 1,000 for legal when you haven't used any? In assessor.
Oh.
Insurance.
Hmm.
Yes.
You take it out, she's
Yeah,
gonna
but
need it for sure.
well, we have a miscellaneous.
Well, we have some relatively large miscellaneous bills confronting us.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Okay, so why don't we do 500 for legal for
does
assessor's
that work
office?
for you?
Since you
Um,
haven't been.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it fits the historical. Then we're talking about postage. Yeah, 600 okay. Then we're at. Then we're at computer software.
No, telephone. Computer software. There's an upgrade that we need to buy for QuickBooks,
And does it cost 1,500?
1,000 plus.
It was 1,000 when they offered it to us. Asked, I'm not sure.
So why are we budgeting 1,500?
In case there's other software upgrades that we need to make. I mean, if you wanna go 1,000, that's.
Why were you guys so over budget and did you have to upgrade your software?
We had to upgrade, I think I discussed this with you, a while ago. By 2014, all of our software, all of our hardware has to be replaced.
Yeah, just.
And so we did, part of it this year.
Okay,
So,
I do recall that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the way it's working out.
Okay. So Gail, do you need 1,000 or do you need 1,500?
Well,
Or
1,000 at least
1,100?
for, again, I don't know what might be coming up, but.
So 1,100?
Okay.
Well, what do you get? I mean, just tell us what it.
I mean, I'll go with 1,100 and, you know, we can.
Okay. Then on the printing, I don't understand why we're doubling the printing.
Because we have to do new letterhead, new business cards, new envelopes.
Listing different trustees.
Mm.
Business cards, that sort of thing.
Have you used up all the letterhead in the 4 years?
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Okay. Well then,
That's outside, that's
Then-
done outside, right? They do the printing of the letterheads, and who do you use, Gail?
Brand printing just down the street.
okay, and do they charge you that much to re-typeset it? Cause
Well, you know,
what
again,
I'm wondering is with the way
Yeah, I
things
don't-
are
I
now,
don't think
I'm
it'd be
not
double,
sure
it'd
it's
be
gonna
a-
be double.
You'd have,
I don't know, I
the
just-
cost of printing plus you'd have a one-time setup fee probably.
Yeah, maybe 1,000.
If they're using the same one, there won't be another setup fee.
and cards and all of
Well,
that.
they put all the names on it though. Maybe we could not put all the trustees' names on it.
Mhm. So,
How about 1,250, just, Because that would say, we're
Look.
expecting to spend $750 this year, that maybe
Yeah,
for
And why is
another.
it up so
250
much
to
from
reset it up.
276 the year before? Why'd it go up so dramatically?
I don't know, do you know that? We reprinted envelopes, we were out. Left
Seal
and-
left and the added Scott. So maybe the 750 is reasonable because you've already had to redo it.
Nobody said just leave them.
I would say no less than, 900 maybe. Oh, we got 1,000, wait a minute.
You've been using Dan Rogers envelopes the whole time you've been in
Yeah.
office?
They're working good.
Okay.
Keeping it
But,
constant.
so I think we went up to 750 because we had a reprint because of Seal. So
But then there's gonna be
maybe-
new business cards and all of that.
I've never gotten
Do you
business
guys don't have
cards.
business cards?
No.
I don't care, I mean, again, these are estimates, I'm just trying to expect whatever.
I'd say leave it at 750.
Yeah, me
That's,
too.
you know, just-
Okay. Okay.
it's only be 6-7 months of spending before it gets rebudgeted. You don't need to get a 5-year supply of letterhead. Something
It's
like
going
Jay.
way up in the assessor's office too. You wanna just budget. What do you need in the assessor's office?
Stationery, envelopes, business cards.
Okay, historically-
Door knockers,
Why is yours so much lower? Historically $55, $278. So maybe,
if we don't need it, we don't buy it.
so 300,
Let's do 500.
300, yeah, budget 5. Okay,
Is
I'm good with
300
that.
Pardon me?
Does 300 make sense to you?
We're gonna have to print new door knockers. I mean, it's not just.
No, it isn't just envelopes,
We
it's a lot
reprint
of things.
generic ones,
I think
or-
500 is reasonable,
do you put the assessor's name on the door knockers?
of course. What would we put on it?
The mayor,
I mean, they have to know who put that on the door.
you could say Shields
Rod Blagojevich had
assessor.
his name go
Yeah.
on toll plazas.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That was cheap.
Illinois, it has to be done this way, I guess.
I'd reprint them in a generic fashion so they last indefinitely.
Okay, how much do you wanna budget?
500 is fine.
Okay.
300 is fine. I don't.
I think 500 is reasonable, Laura, predicated on what we need to do.
Okay, sounds good. Then, anybody, the next item I had a question about is why is training?
Well, again,
Is what?
training,
Training.
with the expectation of a new board, just for people to go and do classes.
For the board?
Yeah, you
The
might
TOI
wanna go all
education
the way to
classes.
Springfield.
Well, they don't always do them in Springfield, Laura, they do them in
Yeah,
Rockford.
let's
You
do
might
it.
wanna go somewhere for a 3-year conference.
Well, we're expecting to hit 510 this year. I'd say put it
You
at
never do.
$600. Or is it the right, no, I missed the wrong one.
I'm at the 1,500, under training.
We didn't have any further.
That's because we've
We
chosen
will
not to do that.
Right.
Now, what are we
I
talking
mean,
about on
it's
the
a-
assessor's line?
No,
No,
we're on the town fund right now.
Okay.
Gail, I think the fact that in 11, there was 515, what year did we come in office?
9,
Budgeted, it was, ended up being 900, and then
8, 9.
there's been none
Well,
this year.
actually, in 11, it was 1450, when you combine in general assistance.
Training,
For the
I'd
two
say
of us, for the two departments, or all
Cut
three
it to
departments.
900.
but on
Which is still more than this
2010.
year.
900?
Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Let me look. Are you saying 900 for both, or 900
I'm just looking at the
Town fund.
historical?
town fund.
Okay, so 900 there, and then for the assessor, 2,500 might be reasonable in lieu of, if there is gonna be a new assessor. assessor.
You know, assessor didn't take over till the last 2 months of the budget, so
Oh, yeah, but they'll probably,
can they,
Do you have
can we
input for
pay
us
for all that
briefly?
stuff if they're not the assessor yet?
Well, my input is that, number one, I think that we should encourage the people in my office to take courses. Especially Kelly, anticipating that she will have a lot more responsibility, but everyone in my office needs classes. It is part of my policy. And, most of the time, we do our best to keep them local. Terry's done a lot of home study, but that isn't always practical, and I suggest that between that and the new assessor who may want to take some courses when she takes over, what would be a she, right? I can say that. I just feel really strongly about the need to
okay, but my question
support
is,
that.
Pete, it seemed like in 2012, the number jumped a lot, and I thought your explanation then was because you were president of the Assessors Association and you had to go to a huge conference. But
Are we
I
talking about
remember-
training?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I remember, I thought that your explanation was the reason it was so high that year was because you were having to go to extra conferences because you were head of
Well, I
something.
think you'd be talking about dues and
That's
conferences,
dues and
wouldn't
conference
you?
up there. That's the one above.
Okay.
This was the
Then,
one that-
well, then maybe we need to go back up there, because last year it was 1,600, the year before it was 2,340. Do you need 3,000 for dues and conferences, since you're no longer, you know, because you had more because you were head of something?
Well, let's see.
Just give us an answer, just tell us what you need.
I think that the 3,000 is assuming that there are things that somebody who is going to take my position may want to do. You want to give them the leverage to do that. And I don't have a crystal ball. $2,500 might be just fine.
Okay.
Under what, dues and conferences?
Dues and conferences, yeah.
Okay, so we'll change that one to 2,500, and then, I don't know, does anybody have an why don't we leave that one at 2,500, because new
Training.
people will be coming in. Okay,
With the training guy?
yeah,
I don't know, that's 5 times, you talk about going
but
from
then
500
the year
to-
before that, in 2012, it was 2,500, that's why I was.
See, if we get lucky when they offer courses, if we get lucky, we can do courses that are a lot less expensive. It depends on what we need and what's being offered. And that new assessor is going to need courses as well. So I am pretty strong on education, and I don't want to avoid.
I covered some, I mean, we're just, it's skyrocketing from what it was.
Training has what?
Well, I mean, just the budget here is, you know, from what we're intending to spend this year to next is a significant difference. I just cut it back,
You wanna go back to 2,000,
yeah, maybe 5.
what's your opinion, Mary?
I was gonna ask T, all of this training, it has to be off-site, none of the training is, online, right?
No, that's not what I said, Mary.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, none of the training
Right.
is online.
There's,
Training has to be-
there's training online.
Oh, okay.
There's at-home training, and there is training that we do locally.
When you said training at home on the computer,
Home study,
okay,
home study courses.
okay.
And, but the longer you take courses, the more advanced ones tend to be class study time. So it depends, it really does.
someone else has a different opinion. That's
Do
what
you have
I-
an
No,
opinion?
2,000.
2,000?
Well, I will agree to that, under the circumstances.
Everything gets tweaked during the year, so I mean, we're just trying to not allocate too much money, is my opinion, and then you can reallocate some of the stuff right on the fly.
Well,
That's what
you know-
we've historically done.
Okay, all right, I won't argue.
Okay, going to real estate taxes, why is that jumping? I don't think real estate tax, is there did somebody tell
Well,
you
you
something?
wanna talk about that, T?
Okay, quickly.
It's her fault.
We don't place the value on this property because we see it as a conflict of interest. And so the Chief County Assessment Office is responsible for finding the value on the property. We pay the bill, therefore we can't create the value.
You only pay for the percentage that we
Right.
rent though, right?
Correct, that's correct, and Gail can address that.
So is there a reason you think it's going up?
Yeah,
by a
the
few-
reason is because the building didn't get assessed for payable in 12. And because we don't do it, we don't watch it, and because we didn't see it, the tax was, when we found it, we had to report it to the Chief County Assessment Office, and so they are now doing a tax in arrears for 2012, and then in 2013, it will be as it should be. So the building had to be put on, so it's
So
going
this is
up.
one blip, 1 year blip?
I hope so. We'll watch it next time. You know, the assumption is that somebody up there is doing it, and they didn't, and so we missed it, and when we
Didn't
found it.
contest it or didn't?
Well, the owner
Do
would
what?
contest it. because-
Owners not can contest the assessed
A low tax
valuation
bill.
going down. So, and we didn't catch it because we don't do it. Our hands aren't on it, we don't touch it.
But it went from 900 in 2012 to, you're saying 1,500 and then 2,000. Why is it, I'm not understanding your explanation as to why it's going up so significantly.
The 900 was for land only
Okay,
in 2012.
okay.
But because it was caught, there's gonna be a BR increase.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're catching up with what wasn't paid last year and now having to anticipate what we have to pay next year.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah,
Okay.
got it. Okay. So I guess we'll let that be.
I mean, it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I'm just wondering if we're estimating correctly.
And we probably don't think it's going down.
Okay. Then, computer assistance, why do we need to go up to 1,000?
We don't need to, it's just, I mean, if you
I
wanna
mean,
drop
we
it.
usually spend, yeah, 500. If anything, I wonder if we, Kathy's got it now, does she need?
Well, there's other computer
Okay. And then,
issues that we have if we get a virus, or we've had, Devon's computer has twice gotten viruses.
okay,
None of us are equipped to deal with it.
okay.
And so what happened, you have to come in there.
Or
Why
do
is
whatever,
it
whatever
clean up?
repairs.
Why is yours up by so much, T?
Why is my what? Computer assistance?
Yeah,
You know what, that's another insurance policy, and I suppose we could put it back down to $750. The problem is that we rely on the county so often for most of the repair and maintenance of our computers, but there are certain things that they won't take care of, and we have to have reserve for that.
I'm just saying historically, you spent 640, 526.
Just $1,000 is a number. You want 750?
750, okay? Okay, and then the senior taxi tickets, I know why it went, spiked so high this
Yeah.
year, but I don't know that we need to budget that much for next year.
Right, I think, what, are we gonna we were talking about revisiting some of that after you maybe reprinted different colored tickets or something like that.
Well, we won't, that presumably won't get done for a while. Yeah, Kathy, how long did we have the green tickets? Over a year?
We went
It was like 30
because
people
people
had-
were using tickets from like
Yeah.
way back, because
Mm.
they were told that they, so I don't think we need.
I think we should budget a little less for that, and like this year. keep an
35?
eye on it. I think it's
That's what
gonna
I
be
was
less,
wondering.
because you made, how many fewer people signed up for it now after you had them reapply?
I
Oh,
don't
You
know.
say you
What's
only
that,
got confirmation on that.
How
right?
many people are you back up to
There
the
was
number you
106 or
had?
7 at the time, but then I think, you know, as people continue to come in and are eligible, we're signing them up. So, I don't know what
You
the
gain some,
roster is
lose
right now,
some.
yeah.
What is our age limit? Can you
65.
refresh my recollection? 65? Because didn't we go up? Okay.
65 are disabled.
Okay. And we used to have how many people? Like a year ago?
130?
About 140, 145.
And now we have 109.
Probably
I'd say
115, I would
I'd
guess.
go back to 30 on that and then revisit it. I think it would be less.
Well, but the year, it was 32,774, and then it was 34. So I think
34, but now it's gonna, but now there's 109 versus 130 some people.
So do you want to do?
But you don't know.
Yeah, you
It
don't
could
know.
change.
Yeah, but everything on here could change.
Yeah, we
It's
know, but. that's-
32?
Yeah, I
Okay.
said 32.
32. Senior card space thing. EA partnership, is everybody okay with that being at 10? I mean, I am.
Staying at the same?
It's
yeah.
been the same consistent ones,
I
yeah.
like
That's
when
Mother's
it stays the same
Day.
or go down.
Okay, okay. Office supplies.
At 5,500, you ended up spending an extra 1,000 this year? Oh, wait, I'm looking at.
Where are we?
Am I looking at the
Office
wrong
supplies.
one?
Office supplies,
So many.
6210.
We're on page 2. We're just budgeting the same that we budgeted this year. At least I'm looking at towns.
Why is your office supplies going so much, Steve?
It's called transferring responsibilities, Laura. In the past, the Chief County Assessment Officer's budget took care of all the printing for all of our appeals. And now we get to do all that. So we ended up, I don't know if you know how much those cartridges are, but they're
They're
extremely expensive.
Yeah, so why don't
And
we?
it's not gonna get less.
So shall we give you 3,200, 3,300?
Leave it at 35.
Okay. And then Dale, can we put you at,
When I go 33, I mean, I'm right in the ballpark of where we've been actual for
Yeah.
the last 3 years.
yeah, you wanna do?
33.
Okay. Now, food pantry,
That number just tracks to whatever we have for passports. You see. So we had 6,500 as we were expecting on the income side, so it's 6,500 on the outflow.
okay, but then lately, we've been given charitable donations.
That's a different,
Okay.
that's not reflected in this at all. This number just strictly relates to the
Okay.
passport fees.
What we're estimating for.
Right. And if we
Okay.
do more on passport fees, this number presumably would go up.
The donations go right to the.
Got
Phoenix
it.
Rising.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do we have a $500 building fee?
Again, this would be for us an insurance policy if we need something.
What did you guys spend the money on in 12? Do you know?
we talking about building?
Bill,
Yeah.
I haven't, I'm not sure.
I think that there's some things that we're responsible for.
Did you paint, didn't you paint bathrooms or
No,
something?
no.
You did.
I'm trying to think of what-
There's some things we need right now that we're going to have to be responsible for.
Yeah, I think we need to revisit the lease, because you guys aren't getting what you're supposed to get, right? I mean, the bathrooms are a mess, the outside's a mess, they're not,
They're trying,
Are
they're
we-
actually starting to put some money in the bill.
are we starting
Place
to
is falling
write
apart, the
letters to
taxes should go
complain?
down.
And
Trust me, I have
And
a very close.
Talk to the
relationship
chief
with
county
this
assessor.
point.
Well, and with the taxes going up so much, this lease space is really getting more expensive. I mean, I think we need to
Well,
think
we're
about.
about $6.50, we're under $7 a square foot.
Yeah, but when you add all the extra costs.
Well, that's
it's
including the
expensive.
taxes.
The heating, the
Well,
utility
yeah,
bill
yeah.
is huge because you are heating the whole building.
Well, no, in
No,
fact,
we're
this
not.
year I negotiated with them, instead of us paying 50%, I said, I'm not paying 50%, so we negotiated 37%.
But I
Percent.
think at some point next year, we need to take that number, we need to look at how much we're paying for this building, everything together, and divide it and figure out how much we're actually spending on rent. And just, cause it is a major item in our budget.
It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's really big. It's the only, I think it's one area that we need to address. If we can. I've read that lease though, and we might not be able to.
Pretty
But if
tight,
he
yeah.
isn't, but if they aren't
Providing.
providing what they're supposed to be providing, we need to start documenting that, in my opinion.
30 years initially, so we've been in 13.
Who signed this lease is what you wanna know, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't Gail.
Is
No, I know that.
Is the utilities line item, back up on 6160, whatever it is that based on the 37% of the
37%.
total utility bill calculation?
Yeah, and it's substantial.
It's lower than it would have been.
So I'm just saying that we say, oh, we're only paying so much per square foot, but then when you add the taxes and.
Well, that includes the taxes, the under 7
Mild
includes
winter,
the
I would
taxes.
keep the heat down, gas.
Okay.
So, building at 5, is that, anybody have an issue with that? All right, miscellaneous, 45.
Okay, I did one, I did write down next year's, what is in this?
Yeah, what is in miscellaneous? Why did we do that?
No, I know why we did it, I'm just curious how you jumped from 1,600 to 6,000.
I bought computers.
You spent
Didn't have any choice.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to check.
And for next year, we have, Kelly, what did you say? How many PTAB appeals that we,
Strongly 4 if not 5.
4 if not 5, which if we pay the full boat, and we can't know that yet, will be $1,000 a subject. So for everyone that we send a PTAB, we pay $1,000. That's for the initial appraisal and for appearance at PTAB. That's coming up, and all we bought with the money that you're looking at for this year for the computers was the hardware. But we did not buy new screens or any ancillary things for the computers. If I don't have to, I won't, but unfortunately, the screens get old and you have to replace them too, so.
Okay, so you think the 7,000 is
I
accurate?
hope that's enough, Laura.
Okay, and then, Gail, what was in yours that took it from 1,147 to 4,000?
I don't know. You know, off the top of my head.
Okay, Well, why don't we leave it at 4,000 instead of 4,500?
Which line are you on?
We're on miscellaneous.
6990.
So the total would be 11?
Yeah.
Yes.
Open tax file?
Do you really think you need 7 instead of 6, T? Because
Yes.
that 6 is significantly higher than the last
Last
2
year.
years.
What are we talking about again?
Miscellaneous.
We're still at miscellaneous?
You were at 2742, 1,635, and then it jumped
Yeah,
up
but
to
we
6.
had a capital fund, we had a lot of other funds that we don't have anymore. We're taking everything out of miscellaneous.
Okay, I
But
figured
but
that's what you were
included in
gonna
that was
say.
computers too, right?
Yeah,
And
so
so we're not
the
gonna
cost
have
of the
to come-
computers comes out of miscellaneous, the
Because
et cetera, et
Scott,
cetera.
just to fill you in, they used to have like 8 different line items where there were contingency fees in there, like what if, what if, what if.
Just
And
roll it
so
all
we
into
said,
one.
let's make one what if. Okay.
Open tax file?
She doesn't have.
I have not heard of an increase in the fees for the open tax files.
So shall we say 7,200?
I don't wanna do that, Laura, because, and this is the reason. Right now, the tax advisory group that meets is talking about, well, the reason we need the new computers is because of the new conversion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I would guess, a good educated guess is that they're going to have to transfer some of the expense for all that back at us. And I think that's gonna be this year. I mean, we can put 7,200, but I can't guarantee you that's where it's gonna stay.
Put 7,200. Nothing is guaranteed.
Okay.
No.
Um,
But see, they don't prepare us, they just do it.
Make sure. Okay, and why are we going up for professional services from 2625 to 3,500?
The professional services is the program we use called Income Works, which does the analysis for us on valuation for commercial and industrial properties. It is something I will not give up. It truly
Right.
is
Well,
and
no,
has
no,
made
no.
a difference.
We're not getting rid of your, it's just
No,
it
no,
was
no. Well,
2,500,
wait, so
2,500, 2,625, so why
The
is it going up?
2625 is his fee alone. And it leaves no room for anything in terms of other professionals that we have called on in the past to work with us on various issues.
Okay, but what I'm
If
saying
I
is-
could, Laura, I'd have a lot more in there.
Okay, historically, you've spent, I'm looking back,
Up to 2625, 25.
But I didn't have Income Works before. I took on Income Works last year, and his fee was $26.25. And that leaves me with nothing for,
well, in 2010, you didn't spend anything.
Laura, I took on Income Works last year.
No,
So
I'm
she's got
saying
a
in 2010.
flat rate fee of 2625.
That's this year. The year before it was more.
No.
Well,
Okay.
somewhere around 2625,
Right,
and then
so-
she wants another $900 in there
As insurance.
to leave something open. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to.
What I'm saying is, historically, you spent 0, then you spent 2,500, then you spent 2,500, then you spent 2625. So why do we keep budgeting 3,500 for something that is consistently was 0, and then the last 3 years has been around 2,500. I'll give you 3,000.
I'm fine
Is
with
that
3,000.
okay?
I'm sorry?
3,000? That's closer
Okay,
to what.
okay. All
It's
right.
just that
Because
the-
because we're anticipating 4, if not 5 PTABs, there is sometimes the need for an individual to support us on that.
Okay, and is an
And-
extra 500 enough
Yes.
for that? Okay, good. So 3,000 would cover that.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, I'm asking
No,
you.
that's okay.
Okay, great. Okay. That's it?
Well, there's the GA transfer of 30,000.
Well, aren't we talking about that at
Hmm.
okay. Thought we were handling that in a bigger meeting.
Well, it's budgeted on here.
What
Uh,
page?
And this is, one of the lowest transfers that is being requested.
What page now?
No, it's on the bottom of this page,
On the bottom of
Oh,
page
sorry, okay,
2.
thank you.
right above one of those heavy red lines. We've done 65,000, 30,350, 37, and I put in 30 this year.
But you have a surplus of, you have, how much we need
There's,
now?
it's in the board report.
In this one maybe?
No, that's strictly, the reason,
Okay.
this will not any longer be pertinent other than beginning cash.
Okay.
Because those numbers on there will all
Have
correspond
all changed.
to, yeah. We have, as of December, there was 19,000 in the checking account, general assistance. 19,075.
And how much did you spend in the whole year of last year on GA? I know.
Somewhere less than 30.
But this 19,000, we still have 2 more months to go, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We did, and this year we're expecting to do 37, and it was 35.5 the year before.
So 37,000,
How much is in there, 19?
19, and they have 2 more months to go. And on average, you spend,
Said
I should know this off
1975,
the top of my head.
19,075.
I think we're 4,000 give or take a month.
That's GA and EA.
Yes.
And so the number you're talking about is GA and EA combined?
Correct, just going into the GA fund.
Okay, so then that would take this down to 10,000 or 11,000. Okay, and then, so if we add 30.
So we have 37 this year, 35 the year before. So 20,000, 25,000?
30,000 seems reasonable to me, because it just gives a cushion. What are you thinking?
But there's already 20,000 in there.
No,
We have
no.
2 more months.
There's
Minus 2 months
19,000
at
minus 2
4,000,
months.
so 15,000 in there.
Well, no, it'd be down to 11.
It would be down to 11,075.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
So if we give her if we allocate 30,000, then it's about, it puts an extra $4,000 in
Cushion.
there. That seems reasonable
Logical.
to me. Okay, good.
Okay, so general assistance, page 3.
We're just bopping along, right?
I don't have that.
Huh?
I don't have that, if you have an idea.
Oh, I can give it to you because I chose to just, okay, you got it?
Perfect.
Okay. So the staff salaries, did you up,
That's not out of here. That, you gotta go to the far right, the
Okay.
fiscal 14.
oh, I page doesn't work. Oh, the budget,
Yeah.
okay.
It's not on this one.
Go to page 3, Mary.
Yes. Yeah, there isn't anything, that's the whole point.
Scott, you got one?
Yeah,
Oh, right
I
here.
got it.
Is it
Because
on
it's
60
paid
level?
out of the town fund. Yeah,
Are we on
because for
60 level?
1 year, she put it all in there and then you took it back out, right?
You were budgeting $6 more in interest income? I'm just kidding.
Well, no, you know, just to explain to you guys.
We're not allowed to joke.
When
Scott.
people come in and are applying for disability, they have to sign a tax form over to us that if they do get awarded Social Security disability income, we get reimbursed a portion of what we have paid out. So that's why an arbitrary number of, you know, sometimes we've gotten a little bit more.
No, but the first line is the projected interest of $6.80,
Oh.
that we're not projecting to get any more interest.
No, it would be on the $1,000 or the 11,000.
Yeah, I think we're okay with that.
Okay.
Why are, okay. That's
So
just the insurance for the
That's the
medical.
insurance for, yes.
And that's set and there's nothing,
That's
okay,
right.
okay.
Okay, so you go down to the miscellaneous GA.
So we're upping it from 1,500 to 2,000 because.
There's a computer program that we use, and it's $1,000 a year for the license
Wait, but
Okay.
for the,
for general assistance.
miscellaneous expense, is
Yeah.
that?
So that's in there, and what else is in there?
Just anything else that would come up.
Was the $1,000 in it last year too?
Yes. And you can see we budgeted 15, and it looks like we're at
17, 15, or 17, 18, and, yeah,
Yeah.
1,800 or 2,000 is probably reasonable.
Okay. What's the transportation, oh, that's to pay for people's transportation.
that or gasoline, so
Got
that
it.
people can
Got it.
go to doctors or interviews.
Yeah, all of these look
Yeah, they
you know,
look
look
fine, yeah.
reasonable and consistent. So, is everybody okay with this rate?
And those just fluctuate, right? I mean,
Right.
if
It
we
just
need
depends
more,
on what
we
the
need
traffic
more.
is, yeah.
Just depends
yeah.
on who walks in the door, yeah.
Okay, so presumably, the total page will be changed to reflect
So
the
that's
changes that
page
we've made. That's
4.
pages 4, 5, and then Road and Bridge.
We're really not allowed to.
Right.
Unless you can talk them into something.
He is here.
I, of course, would like to talk him into taking half of his salary from town fund.
I already said, took on the IMRF
You have all these
Yeah,
people
yeah.
from
We-
unincorporated Shields sitting here in the
for
audience.
I have to, yeah, that's just to tell you guys
That was
something.
paid out of the general
We've been
town
paying,
fund and it's plugged into here this
yeah.
year.
So the general fund, town fund pays for the road and bridge supervisor's salary.
We're
But
required
if
to
we
pay.
paid it out of road and bridge fund, there'd be no money left.
Right.
We're
for the
required to pay
roads.
50%, town fund is required to pay 50% by law, but we pay 100%.
But we pay 100%. Okay.
Not yours, but Rob's.
No.
The IMRF is.
The IMRF.
Right.
It's Rob's.
Right, that's a line
He
you can
doesn't
see in here
take
with
any.
2,400.
He doesn't do health or.
Nor does Rod.
Well, there's 600 there, is that just,
You know, there's some, I don't know,
does he do dental there?
it could be the
He might be
dental,
doing
that's
that.
probably
It
what
was
it is.
projected at 545, so
Yeah.
someone did something this year.
Yeah.
I think it might be dental.
replacement tax sharing?
Good question. Dave,
Pardon me?
replacement tax sharing,
Oh, yes,
63,1500.
Which is interesting, because you've got the income line for replacement tax.
It may be the, the way you pay half of what's raised through the property tax to the municipalities, you're probably doing that the same
That's
thing
what
with the
it is.
personal property replacement tax. right?
That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Looks like we ought to shut the streetlights off.
It is
That's
expensive,
what, that
yeah, it
traffic
is.
light costs a lot of money. First year, we were like, what is this? When people talk about putting traffic lights in, they don't know how much they cost in electrical costs. Need to plant more trees.
If winter continues like it is, you could cut the road salt budget.
Yeah.
He did,
And
it's
you-
already
it is
cut.
down.
And
it is down.
you're storing it, right,
Where
you're
it used to be
warehousing from
40,
last year still,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, my budget was down last
Right.
year because of it also.
Right, right.
So I'm carrying through.
How
I
long
don't-
does it last? Does it last?
Indefinitely, as long as it's covered, it's fine. And that'll be the trick, is making sure I can store everything that we bid for and keep it covered.
I was gonna say, and
Big
keeping it
tarp.
covered,
Big
keeping
tarp.
it dry.
Okay, so then I'll ask, is everybody okay with the road and bridge?
Yeah, we don't get to make any real changes.
Okay, so assuming all of the changes that I got, and if you wanna run through them real quick, I'll run through them to make sure we're all on the same page. If they get picked up and then put onto this, we'll vote tonight to approve, and I don't know if, David, did you put all these changes in?
No, I didn't.
Cause I don't know what the total
Well, I
budget's
couldn't,
going to
yeah, I
be
was
now.
having trouble following it because you were going from supervisor to assessor, and I was.
Right.
And
Kept
yeah,
going back
oh,
and
and when
forth,
you're
yeah.
on the computer, then you have to change,
So I
so
was,
I wrote
yeah,
them all in.
that's
there.
why I was hoping
Could
you were
you,
gonna work from the spreadsheet, or the worksheet that had the total.
Would it help if we took a break and we could input
Well,
those numbers?
I was gonna say, or Kathy can put it right now into the computer in my office.
Okay, do you want Gail and I's notes, Kathy, to work?
I think
from?
mine are pretty straightforward.
I could do it quickly if you read them off,
Okay,
Staff salaries is.
just where you made,
Okay, this is all town
Just-
fund.
so just do town fund first and then do.
Staff salaries, 112, 3,000.
300.
well, see, what I have is just a total. It would be helpful, since you're gonna be approving a town fund budget,
Well, where it was
to
one
give me,
fourteen.
to give me a total. Just to,
Yeah, I don't know, because it carries.
well, then I'll say equals. and
You know
then
what, why don't we have Kathy go put this?
Well, where it was one,
Well, I can do it right here if you give me,
what number do you want?
well, it's in line, it's row 30, well, you don't have it on the computer. It's,
Would you,
it's 6011.
Yeah, it used to be 114,785, now it's 112,300.
Okay, and then how about for the assessor?
Same as it
It
was,
stayed, we didn't change that.
And what was that number?
183.
Does
Then it
anyone
didn't,
wanna
then it
copy?
didn't change.
No one's got.
That's the total that was on the proposed budget. 297,785.
The what now?
Well, we dropped it at
We dropped it.
supervisors by 2,500.
Ish.
Ish.
And then we added 15
Yeah,
around it. so-
ish.
Oh, really?
2,500 plus 15,000?
No, we dropped it from 114,785 to 112,300.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't hear that 112,300 figure.
Where'd these cookies come from?
The bent fork down in Highwood. It's my favorite. Pardon me? Now, what is in that?
So the total is 295,300.
There, it must be cranberries.
What's the
Oh,
white
between the
sauce?
two of them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
well,
that
now
white
you're
chocolate?
confusing me.
Maybe white chocolate.
All right, what did you have for the next one?
Where did you next make a change?
Oh, Okay, what were we on?
The next page was legal services.
Okay, then,
Okay, what's legal services?
legal services went from 7,000 to 6,500 in the town, and then
Super.
from 1,000 to 500 in the assessors.
I thought you were just gonna do.
We're just
do
doing
the
supervisors,
column,
right?
Well, you know
just
what,
do the-
Kathy's putting
No.
it in on the computer.
No, you
so
can do
she'll-
both?
Here.
Okay. Legal services
I think it's
assessor was
easier
500.
to,
Okay.
Yeah?
Postage
And
change.
wait, and 500 for the assessor and 6,500
Yeah, I
for the?
think
Yes,
we
for
should
legal
take a
services.
break now. Would you guys wanna take a break while David's putting this in, and then we
Well,
can?
I need somebody to clarify the figures. whoever
Okay,
wants
because
to do
Kathy's
that.
also
Happy
doing
to
it
do
in my
that.
office, Kathy's inputting.
Yeah, and then we can
Take
compare
your
and we'll
notes.
know we're right.
Well, why don't we take a break
Are you gonna do it, Laura?
while David's doing this, and then we can reconvene up at the,
Jim will
dais?
get
No, not at all, please.
Okay.
You want me to? Yeah,
Oh my
sorry,
God.
you're just getting